Welcome, everyone. Clearly, we are live. And it's Friday. Oh, yes, it is. We made it. I made it through the week. You know what? I made it through the week. I'm a little tired, but nonetheless, I am excited. Why am I excited? Hmm. I just am. There's lots to be excited about. Um, there really is. That self talk. That self talk, y'all. Check it. Keep it in check. And remember, self talk is not because you open your mouth. Self talk is the stuff going on inside your head that you think nobody can hear. You think it's a secret because your mouth isn't open. You're not saying anything. How could I possibly be talking? Because it's going on inside your mind, inside your brain, then. That's where it's going on. Between your ears. That is where it's going on. And that self talk arises. Say it with me, y'all. That self talk arises from your what? Your mood. Your mood. You know, the way you feel. That's the mood. The way you feel. And the way you feel is the way you're going to act. I am beginning to feel like Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 2. La 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 la. When she does that, and all you see is this clip of it constantly repeating, and then she puts her face in her hands and she pops out from under there with her eyes, and then she does it again. Just when you think she's gonna tell you something new, she doesn't. It's the same thing she tells you, right? I tell you the same thing every day. Why? So that when you are going through the day, you will see yourself. And when you see yourself, you won't be afraid of yourself. You won't be angry at yourself. You will recognize yourself, and you will then become stronger and comprehend, wait a minute, what do I want to be? I can be anything? Yes. Yes. You know, I was working last night and I just happened to pop into a clubhouse room. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I don't know that people watch themselves the way they should. Because if they did, they would not say the things that they did. They wouldn't think that way. You know? And I just, that self talk will either make or break you. You get to decide, though, which one. You want to make it or break it, which one? Well, then, modify the self talk. And the funny thing is this, not haha funny, but the funny thing is we don't think that that self talk has an influence. I want you to look at the word influence. What's it? It starts with what? In? Okay. All right, then. I'm done. Influence. Influence starts within. Hmm. Influence starts within. And here we are thinking that influence starts on the outside because there's this external person telling you something. They're called influencers. But do you know why they're there? Because you are there and you call them. Well, how do you call them into your life? By way of your self talk. And I know that you might want to doubt me, but look at your social media feed. How does the social media feed work? Hmm? How does the algorithm, we think that the algorithm is this thing to hack. It's this thing to, figure out. And in actuality, it is not. The algorithm is in response to you and what you do. So the things that you search, they're going to quote unquote magically show up in your feed. I've heard some people say it was like they were reading my mind. They don't have to read your mind, hunty. All they have to do is observe you long enough. Why do they observe you long enough? To learn your pattern. They learn you. I keep telling you, observe yourself because you're always being observed. And who's the first person to observe you? You. So you see that self-talk? That self-talk influences what shows up on your social media feed. Why don't you test yourself? Hmm? Test it and see. Just test it. You know the first thing that comes up on my social media feed when I open it? Chickens. Oh, Jesus. Chickens. That's the first thing, because that's what I search the most. It's chickens. I just do. And then I search, you know, prehistoric things, Anunnaki, the just ancient history. Yeah, but chickens are the first thing. Because that's what I look for. That's my pattern. That's my habit. It's my self-talk. Most of the time, I'm remembering something that little bit did. Lady laid an egg yesterday, by the way. But, that's what I'm doing most of the time. And, the and when I'm at work, that's a different beast altogether. So look at your self-talk and watch how it changes depending on where you go. Watch how your mood shifts depending on where you go, who you encounter. It is that self-talk that influences your experiences and the things you interact with. So don't freak out because you think that AI is reading your mind. It's not reading your mind. If I know your habits, I can predict your behavior. Do you know where we do that as well? Forensics in the profiling department. You can predict the movements of someone if you watch them long enough. If you learn their nature, you can predict the trajectory of their life. What makes you think you're different? It happens with each and every one of us, my beautiful friends. So you see that self-talk? Pay attention to it. And you'll begin to see it all over your social media feed because that self-talk will influence what you search for. And what you search for, you must want to know about. You ever said to yourself, man, I heard about this thing and I looked it up once and now there it is. Exactly. You gave it your attention, so there it is. Remember, things wither and die for want of attention, or things thrive for having attention. So it is simply the attention that matters. So that self-talk, the way you speak to yourself, you think nobody can hear you. Your self-talk is like a foghorn. Yeah, it magnifies. Think about it. It is like a foghorn. Your inner self-talk. How is it like a foghorn? Because your inner self-talk shows up in your external experiences. That's what it does. That's what it does. So it is in our best interest to observe the way we speak to ourselves. Remember, you don't have to open up your mouth. Because you can speak doesn't mean that that you're not having an inner conversation silently. You are. And that is the conversation that matters the most, not the one that comes out of your mouth. It's the inner self-talk that influences what comes out of your mouth. Scripture would say it this way: out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of the heart. What does that mean, the abundance of the heart? What you hold to be true, what you believe about yourself, what you whisper. Whispers in the morning. Don't make me sing some Celine Dion. um, whatever you're whispering to yourself, you understand. You think it is just a whisper, but your behavior speaks loud and clear. Of course it does. You'll know a man by his actions. How so? Because the inner things he's whispering to himself cause him to behave in a particular way. So the question now becomes, what are you whispering to yourself? My. What are you whispering to yourself? You ever had your grandmother look at you? She didn't say a word to you, but the way she looked at you, you were like, oh, you knew what she was saying. Hmm. Perhaps it was your mother who looked at you in a particular way and you knew what she was saying. I knew that when I went to church as a little girl. I better hush. I better not be talking in church. How do I know? You think my grandmother had to tell me that more than once? Mm-mm-mm. And if I forgot the look that I got, ooh, that withering look, make all the saliva dry up out of your mouth. from from the fear that you're gonna get a good whooping if you don't stop doing what you're doing. And that woman never said a word. Inner conversation. It's as simple as that. You ever had somebody give you a look and you felt creeped out? They didn't say a word to you, but their inner conversation did what? Showed up in their face, showed up in their body language. So you want to doubt me? It's everywhere in your life. Look at it and you will see it. I'm not trying to be right. I just want you to observe what you're doing and pivot. Well, polarize. Polarize yourself. When you catch yourself having an undesirable inner conversation, check the mood. Check the mood. Because that inner conversation would not have come had it not been. Or in legal terms, but for your mood, your inner conversation would not be the way it is. And here we are thinking there's something wrong with this. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. You're just in a mood. That's all. You're just in a mood. And I find that life is simpler when you recognize that you're only in a mood. And if you are in one mood, you can pop right out of that and be in another. But you see, the thing is, sometimes when you have been in a certain mood the same way every time, that mood now becomes a habit. So you tend to go into that mood more than you go into any other mood, which means you continually have the same self talk. This is what it comes down to. So your self talk influences your life experiences. You ever stop and ask yourself, oh my God, why did they do that? Their self talk. Ooh, this surprised me. Their self talk. And what is so intriguing about self talk is that we know we all do it, yet we give it no respect at all. We know that we talk to ourselves incessantly. We know this, but we have taken it for granted because we don't see the corresponding experiences, and that is why we think that it has no effect on our lives. So, what are you going to do? Well, for one, don't force anything. You don't have to force it. You're always right. You're always right. Whatever choice you make, you made the right choice. Do you know why you made the right choice? Because the choice that you make matches the self talk. So you are always right. So then it stands to reason that if you're always right, because your experiences are always going to match what's on the inside, well, then the way to quote unquote hack the system, we're always looking for a shortcut, aren't we? And I'm giving you the biggest shortcut there is. The biggest shortcut is comprehension, understanding how it works so that you can apply it. That's the biggest hack. Because now what you've done is you've fostered and developed a lifestyle, not just a flash in the pan, a new technique. Eric, don't sweat the technique. That's what we keep looking for. Pay attention and you'll see it. Every time you turn around, there's some kind of master class to teach you how to do something. When in actuality, it has been in you all along. Your self-talk. Your self-talk is a prophecy on your lips. How so? Because what you tell yourself is what you experience. So it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise at all. How can it possibly be a surprise when you just said it to yourself and dun dun dun, there it is? How is that a surprise? Your self-talk makes you predictable. Hmm. So how you gonna fix it, y'all? By remembering this, self-talk emerges. Self-talk happens because of your mood. Turn to your neighbor and say, self-talk happens because of your mood. It does. So then if self-talk happens because of your mood, get the mood right and the self-talk will change. You don't have to force self-talk to change. Observe the mood and self-talk will show itself. So what kinds of things are you saying to yourself? Well, according to that room that I was in last night, I was a fly on the wall, and I said, "Ooh," and I'm like, "Girl, you should leave because this is making you upset." I I'm trying to figure out and comprehend where the vitriol emerges from. Well, as within, so without. There's the answer to the question. How can you look at a group of people? I'm talking about single mothers because this is the group because people were talking about stepfathers and that they shouldn't be. And I'm like, yes, but this whole time we keep saying that women can't raise men. But a man who steps up to say, let me train up a child in the way it should go so that we can have better men in the world, he's a problem. Okay, sure. I'm like, are you guys listening to yourselves? Do you not hear your underlying vitriol and hatred? And I caught myself saying, Angela, watch how you are polarized. Watch how you're being polarized. That's what kept going through my head. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, how are you being polarized? I keep telling you, these things happen on a daily basis. I just happened to see the topic and I was like, oh, you know, this is going to be the same mess again. Why are you even going in? Because maybe somebody will have the voice of reason. No, there was no reasoning with anybody. I didn't say anything. I just observed. I observed myself and how I responded to that space and how I felt being in that space. So, wherever you go in this world, whomever you interact with, watch yourself. Listen to the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak about yourself. Oh my God, I just can't do this. Oh my God. Hey, what's wrong with me? What? Are you listening to yourself? You see, I was talking to my coworker the other day, and she was like, Angela, did I just say that out loud? I'm like, yeah, you did. She goes, I swore I said it in my head. I'm like, came out of your mouth, girl. It wasn't anything bad. She was just talking about something that she was filing. And I said to her, but you see, we listen to ourselves, but we hear everybody else. You listen to yourself, but you hear everybody else. Hearing is external. Listening is internal. So when you listen to yourself, have some mercy on yourself. Come on. Have some mercy and some compassion on yourselves. That mood of depression will have your room all funky. It'll have your butt funky too, but you know, that's another day. And all it is the mood of depression. But you let them change that depression into something that is light and better feeling, and they'll clean up their room. They'll bathe. All you gotta do is change the mood. Why did I just hear that in my head? Something, 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 and a zoom, zoom, something, whatever that song is. But you know what? I literally heard it in my head. I'm like, oh my God. All you gotta do is change the mood. Change your mood, and your self-talk will change. Watch it for yourself and see. Change your mood, and your self-talk will change. You see, now sometimes we think we're smart. Oh, one smart, that too smart door. If she's a bitch, and you know exactly what that means. We think we're smart, you know, sly. where we can pretend and fake our way. You can't. Oh, Lord. That predominant mood prevails. You can't fake that. You're like, yeah, I'm just trying to be positive. Yeah, I'm trying to be positive on a daily basis. And then you sit there at your desk or you're driving your car and all you're saying to yourself is the most worst, bitter, and angry things. And then you out here in these streets talking about I'm being positive. Where? Stop that. Oh gosh, it just reminded me of Hulk. Stop lying to me, right? From Avengers. Stop lying to yourself. You have got to make a mental shift. A mood. That mood has to change, my friends. And when you change your mood, it feels good. Hey, feels good when you change that mood, yes? Everything on the outside changes. Because the outside is a reflection of the inside. You doubt me? When you bite into a nice, juicy Georgia peach, I wonder what seed was planted that came out of that seed as a fruit. Well, it couldn't have been an apple. It was a peach. As within, so without. When you see your mood, you can always tell what you'll give birth to. So now you understand how to deal with self-talk. Don't try and force yourself to change your self-talk. Just get into the mood. How does the rest of that song go? Boy, you got to prove your love to me. Listen, when you put yourself in the mood, you will show what you feel on the outside. You'll show it. You'll show it. So get in there and change the mental mood. And the mood that you do the same way every time, well, you know what that turns into. Your habitual mood. So choose wisely, my dears. Because that mood is going to influence the way you talk to yourself. And the way you talk to yourself is how you're going to behave. Hmm? I'm not telling you something you don't already know. You know it. Because you live in it. Because you see, we've been living it for so long, we don't see it anymore. We just do it on autopilot. Nothing is wrong with autopilot because the outcome is autopilot. What do you mean? The outcome is to do things, you know, over and over and over again, monotonously. That's the outcome. You just do it and do it and do it well. Repetition, that's the outcome. That is our natural state. But what do you want to do on autopilot? That is what you choose. And you rehearse that thing until you don't even have to think about it anymore. You just do it. Without a what? Second thought. So that's all we're doing. We're always doing the same thing the same way every time. That's why generation after generation after generation after generation, we keep doing the same things. Until, of course, one of us decides to change the mood. Angela, what do you mean by mood? Exactly what I mean by it. I've been singing a song for the past 2 weeks. I'll change your autograph. I'll put my name on you. I've been singing that song for weeks. I put that song on and I feel good. Or I listen to some calypso, depending on who you listen to. Michelle, depending on who you listen to. You put your favorite song on. And what happens? Don't you start to feel better? Did you have to force yourself to feel better? Mm-mm. You just put on your favorite song. In other words, what did you do? You changed your mood. Why? So that you could behave differently. So you see that lovely self-talk that we do, and we think that we're whispering it to ourselves. Remember, it's a foghorn. How is it a foghorn? Because of your behavior. Your behavior magnifies magnifies that mood. Anywho, don't let me hold you up on this glorious Friday. Oh yes. We saw the little baby yesterday. Oh, a little tiny baby. He was so sweet. These little cheeks. Oh, they're just so cute, you know. They are. It's totally lifted my mood. I wasn't in a bad mood or anything. It's just they change your mood when when you interact with them. You just how do you help it? It's like seeing a puppy too. You're like, oh, look at you, so cute. And everybody has the same universal baby talk. Oh, little snookums. That animal has just changed your mood. See, our moods are so easily influenced, aren't they? You just have to have the right impetus. I like that word. You just have to have the right thing to just. Mm. That's all it is. You see your favorite car, or you see the one you don't like, the Cybertruck. It looks like K9 from the old Doctor Who. It does. Every time I see it, I think of Doctor Who and the little dog that is shaped just like it. Yes, and every time I see it, I say to myself, and somebody okayed that, did they? See, things influence our mood. This is why do you think you shop the way you do? Why do you think they tell you don't go grocery shopping if you're hungry? Because you will be influenced. Why? Because the mood is hunger, eh? The mood is hunger, and you want to satisfy that hunger. So what do? You will buy things that you did not really need. You see how important that mood is? Listen, you get that mood right, you'll buy that car. You get that mood right, you'll buy them shoes. Get that mood right, you'll date that sister, you'll date that brother. All you gotta do is get the mood. I can hear it in my head again. When every time I say, all I gotta do is get a boom, boom, something, zoom, zoom. I don't even know, but I know you know what I'm saying. All you gotta do is get the mood. And you already know how to do that. Of course you know how to do that. You get that mood and you buy that little number in your favorite color. You know what I'm saying. It is only the mood, the mental attitude. Why? Because the all is mind. The universe is mental. Get the mental part. When you get that part down, you're going to start seeing things you didn't even know were there, but they always were. Does that make sense to you today? Let me know if it does. Let me know if it makes sense to you today, because that self-talk, just the self-talk is the evidence You know, Hansel and Gretel, the trail of breadcrumbs. The self-talk is the evidence of the mental mood, your state, your mental state. Not to be judged. Just observe it and you'll know what your mental attitude is, what your mental state, what your mental mood is. And then you've got a choice. Because you know how you'll act when you see that mood. You know. You know exactly how you're going to behave. So if you don't want to behave in that fashion, change the mood. Change the mood. Polarize your mind. Polarize, yes. Right now you're facing in one direction with that particular mood. Let's call it left. You're facing left. And that mood has you, whatever that mood is. And if you say, well, I don't want to be there, well, then move right. Change the mood. Move. You see how vibration fits in there? And if I sing it to you, one, it'll be in your head all day. But two, when you get into that mood, every time you hear it, it puts you in a mood. Like, just a good vibration, sweet sensation. When you hear that song, at least for me, you just want to dance. And then you feel so good, don't you? But if you sit down and you remember the song, you've just invoked the mood all over again. Only because you remembered the song. You brought about the mood all over again. So you see, you can, this is the best word I can use because it will make the most sense. You can trigger your moods at will. Oh, what a power that is. You can trigger your moods at will. Just remember your favorite thing. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, I'm like, I don't know how that's favorite, but you know, that's the song. Because these are a few of my favorite things. All you gotta do is get that mood. And you can trigger the mood yourself. I could say a word, but I will not. I gotta have some couth. But if I say it to you like this, you can trigger your own mood. Read between the lines and you'll understand what I'm saying. You have the power to trigger your own mood. You can master your mood deliberately. Can you not? All one need do is practice. Because you know that from the mood, thoughts, words, and actions arise. He would never have built the atomic bomb if they were not in a destructive mood. And the intensity of their destruction, remember, because rhythm compensates. It wasn't just a little bit. Oh, it decimated Nagasaki, Hiroshima. It decimated those two places. Because that's the mood they were in. I trust that these examples are showing you. I'm not here to convince you of nothing, my friends. I'm just showing you what you live every day. My stomach is growling. It is time for your girl to go feed these here chickens. I wonder if she'll lay an egg tonight. 'Cause I was cleaning up their space yesterday. as I clean up their space every day. She laid that egg somewhere different from what she's used to. So now I have to make sure I leave the door in the same position. Your mood, check it. And if you master your mood, you will have changed the trajectory of your life. Not because I'm saying so, because it is law. Anyway, well, let me keep you. But let me do say hello to everybody who's here. I wonder if Melly Mel is here, because I know there's a couple people in these YouTube streets. I see you, Liza. I see you, Miss Liza. I see you, darling. The better man, perhaps? Maybe he's here too. They just haven't made themselves known in the chat. But I see y'alls. I see you. Twitter. Well, you know how Twitter is. Twitter is for the replay, gang. That's Twitter's rule. Who is kicking it with us on Fanbase today? Summer Rose is in the house. Oh, Miss Deborah. I see you. Moon and Dolphin Duck. I'll always remember that duck. Just like I'll always remember the duck we had too. Dumpling. Ray Ray is in the house. Big Mike. And my sweet Miss McQueen. I wonder, Miss McQueen, how you doing today? Because I know we still got to work our way through Hurricane Melissa and the aftermath. So we haven't forgotten you. We haven't forgotten your sweet island. We haven't. Of course not. So today, as you go through this day, check your mood. It is that easy. Of course it is. It is. Just check it. Check it and change it. Chickity, check yourself, Eric. You know what? I know some of y'all think I'm nuts. Whatever helps you to recall the information is just what I do. That's all. These nuts. It's all good though. So today, my beautiful friends, remember that self-talk comes from somewhere. Where does it come from? Where did it come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? You know? Jeez. Oh my God. Angela. Where does the self-talk come from? Your mood. So stop beating yourself up. Start celebrating now because you know what to do. I love you all. And I'll see you again here on Monday, in these YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Fanbase streets. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you then. But of course, darling, of course. Yeah. I do. Y'all, I just love you so much. I do. Let me go feed my chickens. My little chickens. I think a little bit his leg is getting a little tired. So perhaps he'll let me carry him some more. My itty bitty chicken. Yeah. He let me kiss him yesterday. And the lady is finally warming up to me. Oh my goodness. Oh, took her long enough, but she will let me hold her now. Like just to pet her or kiss her. Yeah. It's nice. And you know your failures are doing well. Popcorn and biscuit are fine. Mm-hmm. They most certainly are. I'm curious to see in the spring what their babies will look like. Oh, I'm curious. Because I'm sure we'll be hatching another one. And if it's a black one, we can call it Pepper. See, I already got the name picked out. Anyways, I love you guys, man. I do. Go forth and know that you are powerful. Why are you powerful? Because you're beginning to walk in who and what you are. Power has nothing to do with the other. Power has to do with the self. Master the self. Anywho, much, much, much love to you all.